Good evening, I'm Shana Marty, and I'm here with Coach Scott Renninger, who is a professor and also the chair of the Physical Education Department, as well as the tennis coach here at Westminster. Tonight we will discuss the Mock Convention and his experiences with conventions as a faculty member. Good evening, how are you?
I'm fine, Shana.
Thanks
Pleasure
for
to be
being
with you.
us. So you've been at Westminster for 30 years. When did you first get involved with the Mock Convention?
In 1980, we had a convention. It was a Republican convention then because Jimmy Carter was still in office. And it just seemed like the thing to do. We set up the main floor of the gym, and I don't have a great interest in politics, but it was a gathering of all of our students, and I went over, and it was just a lot of fun for the entire 4 days at that particular point.
Oh, okay. So you've been there, you know what goes on. Could you maybe explain a little bit about what students can expect for this mock convention, or what may surprise them about it?
Absolutely. First of all, the national conventions do not have the impact as they did back when I first got started with this one and well before that. And so I'm sure there's some trickle-down effect, and our convention has lost perhaps some of the real high interest it had originally. But it still nominates a candidate, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, the party that is out of the White House will be the party of our mock convention, and has been as explained so much, mock is fun. But it's one of the very few events, Shana, where we can get an entire campus together during your collegiate career. If you don't have an interest in sports, you're not going to go to the football games, the basketball games, the soccer games, the volleyball games, swimming meets, etc. If you don't have a great interest in the theater, you're not going to go to Bigley, perhaps, and that only seats several hundred people. The arts that we bring here, if you don't have the interest or a time, you're not going to go to OR. This is an event where all of our students can get together for just a few brief hours, enjoy each other, learn a little bit something about the political scene, whether you have a great interest in it or not, and just have a good time and share some commonality together.
Okay. And thinking back to your very first convention that you were involved in, and then thinking to your most recent one, what have been the changes throughout the years?
Well, I think the impact that the conventions have. Back in 1980, it was a Reagan convention. It was going to be a Reagan year. This convention refused to acknowledge that. We wanted Jerry Ford. Jerry Ford wasn't a candidate. He had already been a candidate in '76, had gotten beat by Jimmy Carter, and was not even a candidate. But this convention, for some reason, just held on to him. And it was just a lot of fun. And we just kept insisting. We had 6 ballots. And at about 2:30, 2:45 a.m. in the morning, after we'd gone into the last session, we nominated Jerry Ford. And again, in '84, of course, Reagan was in the White House, and but we were nominating a Democratic candidate. And it was just, kids can learn, students can learn a little bit, even though you may not have a specific interest in the political arena.
Okay, did you also see a change in student involvement throughout the years? Are there more students getting involved, or is it more a big change?
Far fewer, unfortunately, Shana. It just seems that because the conventions don't take the position they once took nationally, fewer students are exposed to them on television now, and we've lost some pizzazz. However, as I said earlier, I'm a product of what Tom Brokaw called the greatest generation. My dad entered Europe through Omaha Beach and Normandy and that, and so always December 7th, 1941, June 4th, or 6th, 1944 have always been impactful to me. We have an obligation as an American, we have a right as an American to vote, and we should exercise those and take those very seriously, regardless of whether you have an in-depth interest in or knowledge of the politics. We still should vote, and that's been ingrained in me throughout my entire life. But this is an opportunity to do that, to learn just a little bit so that you are perhaps a more astute citizen and voter eventually, and of course, most all of our students are 18, we should be voting.
Yes. And do you think it's just as important for the faculty members to get involved as the students?
Oh, absolutely. I do, personally,
Yeah.
because how else can we enjoy the student body?
Yeah.
We have them right here. You know, I have X number in class. I've had you in a class. We had 30-some students. And traditionally, I'll have maybe 100, 150 students in a semester. Here we have a chance to interact with a broad cross-section of students, all diversified interests, and just share some time together and enjoy each other. And so I think it's very important for faculty to be involved.
And lastly, what is your favorite part about the convention?
Oh, the nominations. Because this year we have 3 main Democratic candidates. We have 3 students that have gone out and really researched them. And our 3 students have worked. This is why we moved it so early, so that nobody drops out. And they've done an immense amount of work trying to bring their particular candidate to our campus, to our student body, to the delegates at our convention. And it's just a lot of fun to listen to their speeches, because they've worked with the candidates' parties, or with the election can't think of the word I want to use, the teams that each of those candidates has put together in that, and they're going to bring it to us. And it's going to be fun to listen to them, and then hopefully the kids will get a little rowdy, and that when their particular favorite candidate is nominated.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much for being here with us tonight. I'm Shana Marty, and I've been talking with Coach Renninger about the Mock Convention.